Happy Tuesday, Collective. If you're new, welcome to the 13th house. If you're returning, welcome back. I've changed the name again. Just kidding. Anyway, if you're new, please use your discernment. Your perception is your responsibility, okay? Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And keep in mind, I'm not a tarot reader. I use tarot cards, I use oracle cards, and a plethora of other things, God-given abilities and gifts that I tap into to be able to bring these messages. That's too many at one time. But there's Capricorn, 6th house, and Sacred Mirror. Alright, I sometimes speak really fast. I will often trip over my words at times because I get so excited. Not all light is love. Discernment is sacred. There are smiles laced with poison. There's truth wrapped in shadows. And trust what your body knows before your mind explains away. Alright. But anyway, welcome to the weirdness. It's going to be that. Well, just long story short, it's going to be that. Okay? Okay. Let's go. So what do you want us to know with not all light is love? We have Cancer. Oh, that's going to be hard to read. Expressing emotions, cherishing peace and harmony, and being true. Okay. Voltaires. But yeah, intuitively, in the collective, I've been picking up on masks coming off of yourself, off of others. Things that, you kept repressed within yourself, like the stuff that really makes you feel alive, that makes you want to be alive. That, the world told us was too big, too weird, too strange, impossible, impractical, not realistic, delusional, blah, blah, blah. It's coming up with a vengeance because we all have that something within us, as different as it's going to be across the board, that is a truth we had embedded in us when we came here, okay? When we took our first breath, it was already a part of us. And we have that for a reason. Alright, and that's often the parts of us that get cast over to the shadow, right? And a lot of people hyper-attach to the light, thinking that that's, like the shadow is inherently ignorant or lacking in some way, and it's not. It's all in balancing it out, right? And so some of you, it seems that you've had, you've been through quite a colorful life, and you've gained a lot of wisdom and experience along the way, and now these more shadowy aspects of you are surfacing, so you can apply that wisdom into integrating them into your life, into existence, right? No matter how strange it might be, okay? And it is difficult because it is hard sometimes to be vulnerable and put that part of yourself out there. I can speak totally from experience. Like, I'm naturally pretty damn awkward, and I'm weird the way I do things. Anyway, it is what it is. But it can be uncomfortable, like, just putting it all out there, but it's important, because, it's, for me, it's a part of who I am. It always has been, and it always will be, regardless whether I try to hide it or not. And when I try to hide it, it makes me miserable, okay? And so there might be a lot of up and down emotions pertaining to that. Alright, there's 2. 2nd house, possessions, assets, or whatever the person has that is of value through which money can be generated. Movable goods, liquid assets, values, sometimes intangible, moral, or ethical, like integrity. Money as liberty and freedom to act. And then we have the Sun. Male energy, creativity, independence, willpower, and assertiveness. Okay? Get that situated there. There we go. Alright. So, a lot of this is pointing out already, like, being true to you. Getting reacquainted with that inner voice. Starting to understand better how it's communicating with you through the avenues that it will do that, okay? A lot of this is going to be, maybe it's the masculine energy inside you or another. I always like to say, try to apply it within yourself before you apply it to something external, because everything starts internally, okay? Now, it could also be that you might be discovering that your intuition had been trying to let you know about a situation you're in, okay? Showing where you might be in a situation of like hyper dependence, like someone's put you in forced dependence, okay? Because it has like money as liberty, freedom to act, and then this one has independence and assertiveness. So your masculine energy might be stepping forth, being more assertive than usual, okay? And it's like just letting you know that some of these shadow aspects of ourselves are the ones that are our greatest protectors, you know? They're scary because they have to be, because they should be. Doesn't mean you have to fear them. It's just, you know, when the time comes to get shit handled or to get justice, do you want to send, you know, a school counselor, or do you want to send a fucking beast? You know, I want the fucking beast. Personally. Because, like, a lot of us, we are already balanced. Like, we obviously have tried to take time to talk to people, to try to negate, diffuse, what have you. And when that won't work, like, you got to do what does work. And you got to trust, you know, your capability and standing up for yourself, standing your ground, and to getting shit done. Okay? For the animal spirits, we have the nightingale, love is all around, life is a mystery, and be generous of spirit. Alright, and the lion is often associated with the sun, you know, sun, Leo, what have you. So that could also be the generous of spirit, as in like the masculine energy trying to be more present, more generous in how it's stepping through. And it might be checking in with you less on asking permission to come through, okay? Life is a mystery, okay? So despite how many times people say they know anything, it's like I was going back to saying, like, the things we're inherently born with, okay, that often gets pushed to the side. A lot of what I dealt with growing up was people telling me, like, that's impossible. You can't do that. Well, you know, they act like they know. Now, I'm not saying to throw all reason and rationale out the window, but what I am saying is that people only know what they know until suddenly something else comes through that's like, no, you didn't know. Alright? Life is a mystery, so don't be so quick to write yourself off or the gifts that you have to offer. And especially at this time, you know, minds are opening so much more, and like love is all around. You might just find that it's not as scary as you once thought, you know? You might just be better received than you figured you would be. There might be a collective of people that, you know, are looking for someone just like you. Another person who's been going through the same shit, okay? We have Solitude. This is a Heaven and Hell Oracle deck, by the way. I know a lot of us have been in hermit mode. We usually cling to solitude because that's where we find our peace. Because it is exhausting whenever you have, like, when you're really sensitive energetically and you have a capacity to feel that is, like, way the fuck beyond. Like, it can get very exhausting just going out and doing basic shit. Okay? The normal get up, go to work, come home, sleep routine is agony. Because the shallowness of it, the bleakness of it is too obvious to us. And, you know, if you have an inherent knowing that your life is supposed to be more, you know, don't let people piss all over your parade. Don't let them tell you, you know, you're just being ungrateful for what you have. Redemption. Because you can be grateful for your situation. You can be grateful for what you have. That's too many at once. And still be aware that it's not right for you. It's not your enough. Okay? So somebody needed to hear that. Redemption. Redeeming yourself. Alright, and then Divine Warriors. Redemption. Redeeming yourself of the time that you spent, you know, hiding. Your masculine might be stepping in. Okay? He might be redeeming that masculine aspect of yourself. Maybe at one point it did not show up when you needed it, okay? On the bottom of the deck, we have fines and unfair costs. Alright? I take that as an energetic thing. People take from empaths, and it's a high price. that we pay, it seems, for any interaction with people that, just want to take what we have to offer for granted because we love to overpour. Divine warriors, they're, like I said, we all have gifts, and it doesn't matter if you're closer to the light or further away from it. There's something that we all have to offer that encapsulates the whole and keeps it structured, okay? It doesn't mean one's right, doesn't mean one's wrong, doesn't mean either are above one or the other, okay? But you become a warrior when you know your place within that structure, alright? Blasphemy. A lot of people I've been picking up on are going through the motions of their internal beliefs, their internal knowings, conflicting with certain things about religious structures and so on and so forth. That's normal. Forgive yourself for punishing yourself for existing exactly the way you are and move past it. You're not going to get struck down with lightning. You're not going to be punished for existing as authentically as you came into this world to exist as, okay? That's not saying just go around knowing you're a piece of shit and just go about being a piece of shit and being like, well, this is just me. No. Be genuine, have integrity. When you fuck up, stand by it, okay? Say your piece and do better. And utilize that moving forward. There's a big difference. And despair and self-elimination, okay? It could be that some of you had, or maybe you currently are battling with that, and it might be coming in waves. Maybe 1 minute you're fine, you zapped out of it, okay, life's good and great, but then suddenly out of nowhere something hits you like a brick wall, and all of a sudden it completely pulls you in. Let me take a sip of my drink real quick. If you are experiencing this, please know you're not alone. I'm not going to be trite and tell you whatever, okay? If you're going through this, you already know, okay? Just know that whatever it is that's rising in you, it's rising so it can be felt. Get yourself somewhere safe where you can sit and break for a minute. Just let yourself break. Let it break. Alright? Make sure no one's around to be harmed. Do not harm yourself. But let what needs to be felt be felt. That's how you cleanse and purge that stagnant pain, okay? That's how whatever it is can rise to be able to meet you without having to go to such drastic measures to be heard or seen. Okay? It's just like if someone takes care of you and you're trying to let them know, hey, I'm starving, for the first 2 days, it's going to be kind of urgent, but whatever. But when you get to the point where you know you're about to die and they're still ignoring you, you kind of start to go to the more extremes, right? Same thing with the energies within us. They stir strongly so they can be heard, okay? And once you see where that pain sourced from, you can then start to work through it. And like I said, what I've been picking up a lot within the collective is the whole thing of not feeling like they're at home here, okay? Feeling like life just doesn't have to offer everything that they inherently know or somehow remember that they should expect here in this experience. And it's not that the possibility for those things existing just will never happen. It's that when everybody is holding on so tight to keeping this stuff hidden and jumping on the bandwagon of mocking each other's gifts and pushing others out because they're different or notions that seem out there, every time that the collective does that, it takes away space on the energetic grid for that which we long for to emerge through, okay? So, you're literally doing yourself, the magic you remember, and everything a favor when you just embrace all that you are, okay? Not worrying so much about how it's going to come across to anyone else. And I'm one to be talking because You know, I go through it too. I still do. Um, I'm shy about my gifts and the way that they might be perceived, and um, you know, I was bullied a lot as a kid, and even as an adult. Like, people just say shitty stuff, like try to show them like some cool synchronicity, and you pull out a tarot card deck and like, do you love Jesus? And it's like, oh, fuck, really? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Let's see if we can narrow down maybe some specifics in the situation. What are you pointing at? Ah. And some of you might be noticing too that, oh. Jester of laughter, comedy, mask, performer, and then 9. Keeper of honor, armor, battle, and loyalty. I'm gonna keep those. I think those are pertinent. I'm being told to keep them. But I was talking about masks. Masks coming off, being like either you or others, or both. Okay, and you might find that, you know, what is unmasked, that everybody had mocked and made fun of, is actually a badass, like Divine Warriors. Okay, we have architect, weaver of blueprints, planning, design, supervision, construction. Again, like I was talking about, making room on the grid. Okay, the energetic grid for things to emerge. Okay, I don't want to get into the quantum breakdown of how that, you know, the possibility of it, how it happens, so on and so forth. But I'm heavy into quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum theory, because of how well it proves that nothing is impossible. And that just how powerful perception is, to witness, to observe, to think, to speak, all of it. It just, anyway. Okay, then we have lost soul, seeker of clarity, wonder, confusion, defeat, struggle, and ascetic, seeker of self-restraint, abstinence, purification, and discipline. Okay. So I was talking about, you know, building that which you want to see in this world, okay, to make you feel like you're more at home. You have to start within yourself. So finding that place within yourself. Delusion is a tool, but it is a potent one, so use, you know, at your own discretion. But I think it's healthy to have an inner world and to know how to work with it, to work with the subconscious and find ways to communicate between your forward consciousness and the subconscious. You can have a way of interpreting data, okay, and helping things from within be able to come out, okay. Lost soul, seeker of clarity, wonder, confusion, defeat, and struggle. Again, you know, feeling like you're constantly wandering around, like your soul does not feel at home here. You feel confused, defeated, because everything's a struggle. Existing is starting to become a struggle because that pressure is picking up, because the way things are moving, there are so many that have been placed here, that were born with these codes and stuff, right? This to be activated at a certain time. And they awaken, and there's no turning back, and they can't turn it off. It's not done. It's nothing personal, but it has to be done. And as that happens, the pressure increases. Okay. And then the ascetic, seeker of restraint, abstinence, purification, discipline. All right. What you have abstained yourself from might be what needs to come out at this time. Now, if it's something that you know was unhealthy, you know, something that you sought to purify yourself of, maybe not so much. But that's why discipline is here also, because, you know, everything that we hold for a reason, and we have to learn the discipline and our capacity to be able to utilize it, okay? And gaining that skill is a part of, you know, the process and this construction of bringing to life the totality of not only your blueprint as you are inside and out, like, you know, self-actualization type stuff, but also in what can come through with you from that internal space, okay? You know, we all hold something, a capacity of what people call magic. The ancients knew about it. They have depictions of it everywhere. And inherently, you already know. As I'm talking about it, I know you know. So, anything else out of this deck? Blacksmith. Forge, melting, shaping, tempering. Yep. Your skills, what you find within yourself that you had repressed down, and having been told, like the whole blasphemy thing. Like, you may have thought that, you know, you hold what you hold because you're a lost soul and you're just damned, and because it feels like such an integral part of you. Like, how could something that makes me want to live be something so evil and wrong? Well, because it's not. But they wanted to tell you that because it's a form of control. It's to keep that grid locked in on someone else's design. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, purifying yourself, restructuring that internal landscape, breaking free from the programming of religions and dogmatic principles and all kinds of different doctrines, whether it be societal, religious, moral, ethical, what have you, okay? Do what's true to you and stand on that. Then what you find there, you forge it, you melt it, you shape it, you temper it to help build this design, okay, that you are. That is as much an integral part of you as the soul that's listening inside of you to the words coming out of my mouth. Anything else? Alright, 21 minutes. Need to wrap it up. I really don't want to push it past 30. Thank you. Dancer. Okay. Weaver of grace, movement, harmony, rhythm, passion, right. So as you do that, you start to find what moves you. Starting to feel like you're moving with life instead of just reacting to it. Okay. You'll start to find that, you know, life echoes back to you. Your truest dreams and desires, as long as you're acting and living with integrity. You show up for life authentically, you best believe life's going to show up for you. Okay? The Fool, ignorance, rashness, impulsiveness, okay? So, as you're doing this, you're going to have times when, you know, you're still learning the process, okay? Don't be so hard on yourself when, you know, you find a way to output whatever it is you found within yourself out to the world. It may not work quite right. That doesn't mean it's wrong, okay? That may just mean you need to find a different avenue, okay, for it to come through. Part of moving with life is also impulsiveness. Now, I'm not saying in a reckless sense, but I'm talking about listen to your intuition kind of impulse, okay, and not stopping to second guess so much, okay? You have to trust yourself. That is the deepest bond I think one should have above anything else, is bond with self, to be able to trust yourself, to be able to know yourself. That what you see, hear, everything, that you can trust your whole being to interpret it correctly to you, because you are navigating through this life. It's through your own perception and everything, okay? Master of libation, small talker, alleviator, bartender, okay? You might find that you get very passionate and excited about something, and you want to tell everybody and show everybody, and you know, sometimes that can be a little tricky because, you know, you might find others put you on a pedestal, or you might start putting yourself on a pedestal, which isn't. Keep it in balance. Keep it in check, okay? Because you might find yourself just saying shit because you have somebody that'll finally listen, okay? I went through that years ago. I totally went through that. It was embarrassing, but I did. Alright, I'm just gonna get this, and then I'll wrap it up. I don't want to push this one too long. Okay. What do you want to tell us in a little bit of detail of this? Narrow it down. Any specific messages to someone who's watching that might need to hear it, to know, they can use moving forward, please. We have magician, the pre-manifest, plan, establish a clear vision, thoughts becoming things, inception point, exactly. All right, so as you're doing that, like that inner work, establishing a clear vision, like I said, going within. The imagination is such an underestimated superpower, okay? And the more vivid of imagination you were inherently born with, the better. Holy shit, you're stronger than you know, okay? That's a good place to start. A good inception point. Nine of Swords, mental anguish. We were just talking about that over there. Psychological trauma, lost hope or love, dark thoughts, anxiety, fear, nightmares, insomnia, worry, and new. So, I know I went through this, and I'm picking up that this might be what this is about. It kind of struck me really hard when I had my big moment years and years ago. When I started to just surrender to my own truth, the reckoning that there was not going to be somebody that was just going to magically come save me, I took that so literally and so hard that it was kind of crushing. And it took a long time for me to come to terms with the fact that everything starts inside myself. I took that so hard, like ridiculously hard, like thinking that, okay, so it's just me and I'm just alone and nothing outside of me means any, like I really took it hard. But I misunderstood a lot of the things that were being revealed to me, because what happened with me personally is it was like someone shook up a can of soda and just pulled the lid off, and everything just suddenly it was all there. Like I had always had like knowings and blah, blah, blah. I just didn't know where to put it, and then all of a sudden somebody shook the damn bottle, turned the lid, and all of a sudden that shit was spewing everywhere. So you might be going through something like that. Just know that give yourself permission to feel what you need to feel. Allow your subconscious, your imagination, your forward mind, your reason, your rationale, every part of you to step forward when you start to enter that space and you start hearing all those thoughts and everything, because that's the inner child, that part of you that wanted to believe in something because they said it was the right thing and you trusted them and you believed them and da-da-da. Remember that's like a very pure part of you, and be gentle with it. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of self-awareness, but you stop that process not by cutting it off. Just be like, look, I know this is hard, you didn't deserve it, it was fucked up, we were lied to also, but we have the information to help you, and you go ahead, you feel how you need to feel. This is a safe place within yourself to feel what you need to. I've got you covered. And start working deeply with yourself to clarify where it was that you got it twisted, why it hit so hard, where in your life are you, like when you have the thought of this or that, having been lied to that on an existential level, where it hits you hardest and why. And start digging deep into those avenues within yourself, because that's where you find what had originally been put there, what had been misplaced and thrown into the shadows to be replaced with a narrative that is a one-size-fits-all in a sea of souls that is anything but one-size-fits-all. We have Seven of Cups, clarity of thought, focus, attention, claircognizant, seeing a clear choice, concrete and decisive. Exactly. Your thoughts will clear, okay? Emotions rise to be felt. They don't lie. They don't manipulate. They aren't there to inconvenience you. They are there to be felt, because they all hold information about something. Let yourself feel, okay? And it'll clear. Your, that claircognizant, being able to tune into that which is speaking around you. If you've ever had a moment where you channel voices, not from outside of yourself, but inside of yourself, okay, big distinction. But lending an ear to that, and being able to discern, okay, if that voice is telling me something and it's aggressive, that's a wounded voice speaking. I need to be aware of that. And then okay, well, this voice is calm, clear, decisive. I feel like I can lean on that one to trust, and then start that internal dialogue back and forth, and get all these aspects of yourself kind of coming back to center, to the source of you. The Hangman, a new perspective. Aha moment, perspective, awakening, surrender, epiphany, release, let go, allow, yield. There you go. It will lead to this, and it may not seem like it. Just try to be patient with yourself, because it does get to a point where you want it so bad. You think, I'm ready. Hit me with the thing. Hit me with the truth. It'll come exactly when it's meant to, and you'll understand that after it happens. But before you get to that, it's going to do nothing but piss you off to be told that. I know, it still happens to me. I'm always learning new shit. But when you have that awakening, surrender to what's revealed to you. Let go of what had all come up to be cleared. You transmuted it, okay? Now let's take it and form it into new material. Okay? Let's not let it recycle through and blah, blah. Let's go ahead and shape it. Give it a new structure to be a part of this blueprint of your truth. Not anyone else's, not society's, not your mama's, your daddy's, your husband's, whatever. Outside of expectation, outside of roles, outside of labels, of what you truly desire and want most in this life. Okay? Everything else will fall into place. Life isn't here to bully you. It will consider what you truly love most. It will not put your truest loved ones in any danger, especially children, okay? Alright, King of Coins, ruled by materialism. Greedy, possessive, hasty, miserly, disloyal, jealous, stubborn, ungrounded. Okay, so, again, you might be having, possessive feelings of, a moment you're in, someone you're attached to, a situation you might be attached to, and it might be that it's not good for you, okay, and this might hit and ask of you to step away from that, and surrendering to that might be very hard, okay. We have the love of money. See, this here was ruled by materialism and a love of money, and I'm being told intuitively that this has to do with somebody has an issue with well, how am I going to work? How am I going to make money? Because what I really want to do, how am I going to survive? How am I going to feed my kids? How am I going to close it? Blah, blah, blah. Might be staying in a situation, a bad relationship, living with your parents, whatever, entertaining friendships, strictly for means to survive. Okay, that's still living in survival. And that's living in a way that is deceptive. And I'm not being judgmental. That's just, it is what it is. I've done it before. I'm not going to lie and say I hadn't. But once you see it, and once you own it, you ain't got to make a huge public announcement to clear yourself of that. But to acknowledge it, just even to yourself, silently. Say, okay, I have been doing that. Yes, and yes, it's uncomfortable to face that. But you owe it to yourself to be loyal, and you owe it to the dreams you came here with and the promise you made before you even took your first breath. You say you want the magic, you say you want the life, you say you want all that that means the most to you, okay, to make you feel alive again. You have to trust. Alright, life, the universe, your soul, all know what you need to survive, okay? And a big part of this time, in the collective is the integration of spirit and matter, body and soul, okay? So, just know that your body's going to be considered, your loved ones are going to be considered, and, just trust that as you step, the ground will rise to meet your feet, okay? It's hard, but for a reason. It's worth it, okay? It's totally fucking worth it. And then we have Ten of Swords, change the outcome, regeneration of a relationship, make a comeback, reconcile over it, repair, or move on. Alright? By doing these and listening to yourself, okay, listening to the deepest parts of yourself, not someone else, but your truth, rediscovering that truth, regenerate a relationship, exactly, between you and Source, between you and yourself, between you and life, you and the universe. Alright, then you can start to repair and move on from all this that you thought you had to worry about. You don't have, it's not as much of a worry as you've been told to believe it is. Okay? It's scary when you sit there and think about it because you're terrifying yourself before you even get into a situation. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've been homeless. And the thought of it was absolutely terrifying. In the moment, I didn't really have time to think about anything. I was literally just focused on one foot at a time. Go ahead. And it was scary, but it wasn't as scary as I had thought it was going to be, if that makes sense. Because the universe made sure that even during that time, my kids stayed with me. That we had somewhere to go, a homeless shelter. We had food at night. It may have not been the best or anything like that, which fine. But you know, the whole experience taught me something. And it taught me something profound and something that really helped kick off where I am now within myself. And I wouldn't change a damn thing. But I'm gonna leave it there. I will be doing private readings and stuff soon. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to go about that. And I'll also be delving into some other stuff too. But anyway, I'll tell y'all about that later. But until next time, y'all take it easy. Like, share, subscribe, please. And thank you. It helps get the messages out, and it helps let me know that, you know, I've reached somebody. And if you wouldn't mind, if you made it this far, leave a comment, just your horoscope sign, or just something that you want more insight about. It could be just one word. And I will consider it in my next read. And energetic exchange, you know? You listen to me, I'll listen to you, and I'll try to offer what I can in return for the like, the subscribe, and all that fun shit. Anyway. Y'all have a good one. Bye.